The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of our Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Y'all started from PBS Kids, what you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. Before we decide to get into meat and potatoes of it all when it comes to Camp Rock, I have established in the past that it's obvious that this movie was a cash grab from the get-go. Disney Channel saw the success that High School Musical and the Cheetah Girls gave their channel, so it's kind of like they were like, oh, let's see if we can do another musical. It doesn't fucking matter if it's good or not, as long as we have a musical, people will watch it and they'll buy our merchandise for it. I'm dead ass thinking that is the process of them making Camp Rock, because I think one thing that 95% of y'all sent when I posted this for your opinions is that this movie is not good. So today's episode of Disney December, I apologize for, you know, the late night uploads. Hopefully this one go up on time today at the time it's supposed to be at 1 o'clock. Quick little announcement, shameless plug, I'd say. Everything from my store is 35% off on my site until December 24th, which is the last day of Disney December. harriyannahook.com. Use code HOTSPOT35 for 35% off your order. And y'all, I am so sorry if you did order during Black Friday. I have been doing my best to be able to get the orders out that I can. It's just some of y'all, a lot of the stuff is like stuck in transit, and I'm getting mad because I know a lot of you guys wanted to get that shit for Christmas, and I truly do understand, and I appreciate it, and I'm thankful. I am so sorry that it is taking forever to get y'all stuff to y'all. It's just because it's nothing is moving, and I understand that the postal service, UPS, FedEx, even DHL are very overwhelmed during this time of year as well, all of the ordering and such, because it is the holiday, people are buying gifts and whatnot. So yeah, I apologize for y'all stuff being stuck in transit, and then I also apologize for when I do take y'all stuff to the post office, they just let it sit there for a minute. But moving on, thank you guys so much. Let's go ahead and get into the movie. We already mentioned that the movie is terrible. It is. And the thing about it is that, listen, I understand that Camp Rock is a Disney Channel movie. And of course, Disney Channel, the bar is very much low when it comes to the quality of those films. But not all of them are like flat out horrible. Like, all of them are going to be corny at the end of the day. Like, it's literally Disney Channel. But one thing about so many of these Disney Channel movies, because I remember in the past when Camp Rock was being, like, you know, in production and being released and all that, that was like a time period where Disney was constantly over here making movies, and I seen like over the last few years they have slowed down with how many movies that they put out into production for their channel. Camp Rock was definitely rushed, and that is what led to it being so fucking terrible. The acting is horrible. The storyline is low-key non-existent because there's so many fucking plot holes, but then everything just comes together in the end. The lead relationship within the film is just fucking toxic, and it's not even like I'm here for toxic relationships and shit like that, but they would be getting mad at each other. Well, mainly Shane would get mad at Mitchie for the dumbest shit. That's why it's just like, I'm not interested in none of these characters. Almost every single last character in this, with the exception of the mother, was annoying as hell. The music is literally the only thing that just kind of kept me with this film, because I still listen to the Camp Rock soundtracks. I listen to the same one because it's good music. Those songs slaps. 2 stars literally was in my top 5 for Spotify in 2021. The music is great. The music honestly is what sold this damn movie, because everything else about it is just awful. Okay, so a lot of you guys mentioned something about the entire situation about the Mitchie lying about her mother, you know, being the cook there and all that. I try to find it, but basically one person said, what's wrong with being poor? You could have just showed them that you were talented. Why lie? And honestly, they were not poor to me. I didn't really think they were poor. Like, they were just middle class. And it's obvious that Camp Rock was a camp for, like, super rich kids. I really feel like her mama was well off. Did y'all not see the way their house looked? Did you not see how big Mitchie's room was? They were not poor. Like, this is that Pottery Barn poor shit that they are always doing. But it's someone, yeah, okay. Here it is. I don't get why it's a bad thing she got to go to camp due to her mom being a chef. This movie is classist as hell. I'm not even joking. This movie is classist as hell. This is something that I have talked about in the past, that Disney Channel has a really big classism problem. And it's the way they go about it is a bit questionable, I say. Because I understand I was someone that did not grow up with a lot of money and shit like that. And because of that, so much of the things I watch are about, you know, rich people and people with money and people that are well off and are not living paycheck to paycheck and are not struggling to pay their bills and shit like that. Because sometimes I just don't want, like in the past, I did not want to be reminded of not having money. A lot of people tend to love watching things about rich people. Like, that is why Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous was such a big deal, because it's called wealth porn, I'd say. But that's basically what it is. We as a society love to watch people that have money. I'm not even lying. Like, a lot of times when I watch vlogs on YouTube, it's usually like black girl luxury. I'm just being completely honest and transparent right there. That is just like what everybody wants. So I noticed that this was a big thing when it came to Disney Channel, that a lot of the characters that they had within their shows and whatnot, a lot of them were very much well off and they had money. And Camp Rock is literally just a movie about a whole bunch of rich kids. So when you grow up in that kind of environment, because I did grow up around a lot of rich kids, because I did you know, the cheer program I was in, them girls' parents has had money, like literally be coming to like cheer camp with like Juicy Couture purses and like the newest Nike shoes. Like, those girls had money, okay? And their parents literally buy everything they wanted for them, from Justice and Limited 2 and Aeropostale and Hollister, like all of that. It's very much classist, but like a lot of kids, when they're raised like, you know, with rich parents and whatnot, they tend to copy a lot of their, like, you know, ideologies, because they're just like copying their parents. There's a lot of people I know that were talking about how they look down on the poor, but that's because their parents look down on the poor and this and that and the third. That's really what this movie was given, with so much of this kind of bullying that Mitchie had to deal with being embarrassed about her mom being a cook or whatnot. There was nothing to be embarrassed about that, but then also you have to remember, like, Mitchie was like 15, so shit like that can seem embarrassing. I get it, I understand it, but I really just don't like the job shaming aspect that this film went with. It's not even just like job shaming, but it's just like class shaming too, because we over here, like, mind you, like I said, Mitchie was not poor. Mitchie was not poor. The actual poor kids watched this movie and they were just like, huh? I'm confused. And then also, it gave us like a bad idea of what cooks are, because cooks are like literally the backbone of the nation. A lot of y'all asses don't be going to cook for yourself, so you go to a restaurant and have somebody cook for you. Literally, cooks deserve so much more, okay? I feel like if she were like on celebrity chef level as like a Gordon Ramsay, or what's that lady that always puts lemons on everything that she makes? What is her name? Giada. She was like a Giada type. She was like a Gordon Ramsay type, a Beat Bobby Flake. Yeah, I've been watching the Food Network, Guy Fieri, and also the Miss Pioneer Woman. I used to be seated every week in 2019 when I was having my really bad major depressive episode, sitting there watching the Pioneer Woman. I felt like if she was a famous chef, things would have been different, but she wasn't. She was just some regular chef off the street, and they got her there. And the thing about it is, like, I wouldn't even be complaining about it. As long as she can cook, that's all that matters. Like, it would be different if her mama couldn't cook and the food was nasty, but I get it. Next, it's the worst Disney Channel sequel and it didn't. It's the worst Disney Channel movie and didn't deserve a sequel. Okay, Camp Rock is horrible. I have established it, but as bad as it was, the reason it got a sequel is because it didn't matter if Camp Rock was a good or a bad film. It literally met the expectations that Disney wanted to, that being a whole bunch of people watch it and a whole bunch of people buy the soundtrack, buy the merchandise. That's literally what the goal of Camp Rock was. They did not give a flying rat's ass. They did not care about Mickey's ass, I'd say in particular, about if it was good or not. So that is part of the reason why I low-key consider Camp Rock to be one of Disney's worst movies in my opinion, because it was just very much lazy and just slapped together. But they knew that we were just gonna sit there and watch it if they could like distract us with songs and dancing and all of that jazz. And a lot of musicals tend to do that. Like Disney tends to have that issue where like the story can be a little bit iffy and dry, but then they'll have a musical number and it makes you forget that the last scene they didn't make no fucking sense. It didn't deserve a sequel, and the reason it got a sequel is because it met the expectations that Disney wanted in the first place with this film, and that was just getting people to watch it and spend money. They got what they wanted. That's the reason why it got a sequel, and the sequel did the exact same thing. People bought the soundtrack, people bought the merchandise. That's what they wanted. It's actually very fucked how we let this succeed. And like we sat there and we watched it every time they aired it on reruns. We bought the soundtrack, we listened to that shit all the time because I used to play them all the time when I was little, and I still play them now. Like Disney got what they wanted out of this movie. They legit did not give a fuck about it being good. Next one, let's move on. The movie sucks so bad. Mitchie was annoying. Camp Star deserved to win. Mitchie was not a very good protagonist, and that is just because like this whole movie and like almost everyone in it are poorly written. Very much poorly written. The first one is iconic, the second one is trash. They're both ass if you ask me. And then this person said it's better than High School Musical. No, because at least High School Musical actually had a story, actually told a damn story. Camp Rock is just awful. It's honestly awful. People talking about Camp Star deserved to win. Yes, Camp Star did deserve to win, because if Camp Rock asses went over there just being nosy, envy, and haters, they would have been as good as them. But we know like why that shit didn't work out. Like Camp Rock was so like the actual Camp Rock camp, it was cool, whatever. This entire franchise is just rich kids arguing with each other. That's literally what it is. It's like Gossip Girl, but put it in the wilderness. That's literally what Camp Rock is. I'm not even joking. And then the entire Camp Star bullshit, it was just annoying. The music honestly is what carried it for me, because I love the Camp Star songs. I do. Especially the one that Tess did with them slaps so hard. But it's just, y'all like to call all these live action Disney remakes soulless cash grabs. Camp Rock is a soulless cash grab. It is awful. Moving on. I don't care about the main relationship. I'm gonna let y'all know who said it. It was Rod's Variety, my buddy. No one did. I'll tell you. I thought I was the only person that felt this way, but a lot of people were talking about how it was just kind of frustrating dealing with them, because why were y'all so upset about her lying about the entire situation about the cook thing? Because if y'all actually kind of gave her some reasoning and a bit understanding for why she felt ashamed about that, y'all may have wanted to, like, you know, listen in. Like, that's what I didn't get. And they were annoying. They were just bickering. He made her cry in front of everybody. He embarrassed her. That shit was nasty as hell. I fucking hate that scene because it's just so mean. And then the end, when she sings the song, "You're the voice I hear inside my head, the reason that I'm singing," that shit. Then they get back together, and I was just like, this is giving 10 things I hate about you, because I absolutely don't like how they got back together at the end of 10 things I hate about you, because that entire movie, their asses was just fighting, and the next thing you know, it was like they made up in like 3 minutes. Like, she was crying in class about the poem, and then they made up like in 3 minutes, and then the movie ends. And I was like, no, that's literally what happened with them in this film. I got more excited realizing Mrs. Russo, the mom, than Demi or the Jonas Brothers being in it. Oh no, I get it. She's really pretty, talented woman. I understand that. She honestly was like the only person in this movie that could act, if you ask me. But anyway, moving on. I actually love Camp Rock, just not the sequel. This is what I don't get. It's either people love the first and they think it's amazing and they hate the second one. People hate the first movie but they think the second is better. Or you just hate the entire thing and entirely and the only thing you really like about it was the music. Like, so many people fall into that last category. There was a reason why Camp Rock was getting dragged up and down the internet, because this movie was just, I felt like they were like, what can we do to make this movie more chaotic? Because that's literally what it was. I'm trying to think of that one Monster High movie where it was like actually really bad, mainly because they just kind of kept doing shit for shock value in it. It's not coming to my brain. There's so many Monster High movies, but I can't think of the exact name of this one. But that's honestly the vibe that I was getting from this film right here. I was just like, ew. This Is Me is overrated and Our Time Is Here is the best song in the movie. I don't really like either of these songs. This Is Me is annoying as shit though. I can't do it. No one talks about how Caitlyn was so mean to Mitchie. No, I'm telling you, this entire franchise is just rich kids being mean. Caitlyn was nasty to her. That she was not a good friend. As much as she thought she was not a good friend. A lot of y'all had even said something about how I felt like the Jonas Brothers were playing themselves instead of characters in the movie. And I remember the Jonas Brothers were like starting to like be on the rise at this era, because I remember Camp Rock is honestly what put the Jonas Brothers on the mark for good, but they was already a bit popping with the Disney company in general. Like, I remember them early origins. I remember when they did Year 3000, and I remember the Little Mermaid song they did of Poor Unfortunate Souls, which still slaps. I need to add that to my workout playlist. I honestly, people knew who the Jonas Brothers were, but like I said, this movie was a soulless cash grab, and they were like, what could we do to get people to watch it? And mind you, nobody really knew about Demi Lovato at this time period. Like, yeah, this was around the same time of Sunny with a Chance, but the Jonas Brothers honestly is what sold it and what got people to watch it, because this also was like an era of when like boy bands were like in, and that was what everybody wanted. So like I said, they mainly were just putting that movie because they knew it would get people to watch it. They didn't want to take that risk of putting like completely unknown people in the film and seeing if people would like it or not, like they did with High School Musical, because I'm not even joking, I dead ass did not think that Disney thought High School Musical was going to be what it is now. Because the Cheetah Girls had Raven, and then they also had Adrian and Keely, because a whole bunch of people, the black community specifically, knew who Keely and Adrian were, and a lot of Latina people knew who Adrian and Keely were, because Adrian is Latina, and they were in a group together called 3LW, and a whole bunch of people, the whole black community knew who Raven Simone was because of her time on The Cosby Show, and she was on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Like, she was like literally the black, like, American princess, like another Brandy Norwood type. So the Cheetah Girls already had that right there, that star factor of getting people to watch the movie because people knew who they were. But High School Musical didn't have nobody fucking knew anybody from High School Musical, and nobody really was checking for them like that. Like, they had Ashley Tisdale, but that was like the biggest it got, in my opinion. And then she also wasn't even really the star of Slap, Zack and Cody. She carried the show though. She was talented and she did that. I think Disney was just like, okay, so we already see the musicals are big and everyone likes them, but we don't want to, you know, take another risk with High School Musical and make it super duper, you know, fresh and new almost, because, you know, they had Ashley Tisdale in there. And Brenda Song. No, Brenda Song was not High School Musical. I'm thinking of Slap, Zack and Cody. My bad. But I got my shows mixed up. But they were like, yeah, let's throw the Jonas Brothers in the movie. We know that people watch it simply for them. And a lot of people did watch Camp Rock simply for the Jonas Brothers. It's kind of funny. It's honestly kind of funny. So moving on to the other responses that I got from this. Y'all are hilarious. I'm not even joking. Hi everyone, the captain here. I just wanted to get on here real quick and tell you guys thank you so much for your support. I have gotten so much fan art from you guys, and I've met plenty of y'all in person at the conventions that I have been at. And also thank you guys so much for coming to the panels that I host. It means so much to me. You guys are so great. I appreciate every little last bit of support you guys give me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can say thank you 100 times, but I truly do mean it. Thank you. Okay, we're almost ready. Give me a second and I will get them up. Okay, Mitchie's lies about her mom weren't believable. I don't think they were supposed to be believable. I'm telling y'all, this movie was extremely chaotic. Like I said, they did not care making this movie. Like when it came to the script, they didn't give a flying fuck. They did not. Shane was a douche. We all can agree on that. I hate the fact that she got with him in the end, because he was really nasty towards her. Like him making her cry from all those people like that, I hated that shit. It did shit bringing back some bad memories. I remember. Woo, don't remind me. Do not remind me. But he was nasty. I didn't really care about his character all that much. Tess was a snob who couldn't handle not being the center of attention. If her mom was not famous, no one would have cared about her. Tess is annoying as shit. Like, somebody has said, did y'all think she was mean or did y'all think she was annoying? I was like, she was annoying, because if she did that whatever made you lose the shit to me, I would laugh in her damn face. Because I remember at summer camp, some girls did that shit to me and I laughed at them. Like, I'm literally a Sagittarius. What the fuck? This is funny. The first movie is literally a copy of The Little Mermaid. A popular rich guy falls in love with a mysterious singer. Then a mean girl pretends to be the voice and fails. I did not understand that comparison, but now that I get it, Disney likes to revamp a lot of their old stories and do them again. So I could see that comparison right there. You can tell no one on set gave a damn about Camp Rock too. In the famous dun 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 Camp Rock scene, you can see the Jonas Brothers were shying from the camera out of cringe. The first one wasn't even good. What did y'all think that they wanted to come back and do the second one? Everyone knew that the second movie was gonna be worse than the first. We need to stop pretending that this film is good, first of all. I think, let me be real. Let me be fucking for real. When it comes to you working on a production, oftentimes when you are auditioning, you don't really get to see the entire script. You just kind of take what they give you, and that being the sides for the part that you are auditioning about. They give you a brief synopsis of what the project is going to be about. You read over that, then you try to understand what's going on with the character you're reading for within the scene that you're auditioning for. And then if you get cast, you get cast, and then you get their full entire script. And a lot of people usually don't back out of roles because they need the money and they need, like, you know, this is a job. Like, acting is a whole job. That is why so many actors be in things that they don't want to be in. I pretty sure that like when they were talking about the subject of Camp Rock, talking about this movie was going to be this and that and the third, everyone was like, yeah, this sounds cool. I'm auditioning for this Disney Channel movie called Camp Rock. And then when they actually got there and they realized how fucked up it was, and they're just like, yeah, we're already here. We can't turn away from this. It's like the second one. It's like you low-key can't say no to the damn sequel. And remember that these were all child stars just as well. They really couldn't necessarily say no to the sequel. And also, it would have been a bad look on their agencies and their managers that they have if they didn't come back to do the second one, because the first one was such a success no matter how horrible it was. So yeah, they were gonna come back and do the second one, but they didn't give a fuck about the first script. So what made y'all think they were gonna care about the second one? They cared about it even less. Like, this entire franchise is a soulless cash grab. And even though we give this, like, more people get the second movie shit for than they do the first, y'all need to drag both equally, if you ask me. It's just, they both perform very well. Like, the second didn't perform as well as the first, but it still made Disney a lot of money. I'm dead. Y'all are funny. If we talk about the second Camp Rock movie, I want to know who allowed these guys to do a whole step dance routine to the rival camp because they look goofy. I'm telling y'all, they just wanted to make this franchise more and more chaotic as it went on. I know some black people had to choreograph this shit. They did not teach y'all this shit. They did not. They did not. They did it. They did it. Unpopular opinion, Peggy has the worst song in Final Jam. I fucking hate her song. I don't like her song. Like, no. No, I don't like Peggy's song. Peggy honestly deserved better, because even though almost all the characters in this fucking movie were getting treated like shit, her arc was just like, it was giving anti-black. It was giving very much anti-black, and I felt like they singled her out a little bit because she was really like the only black girl. Like, you know, there was other black girls within the movie, but she was like the only black girl of importance, I'd say, unlike the other girl that was like performing and singing. She was there, but like Peggy was like the only black girl of importance. She literally was like the little token black friend that broke away, and then she had her own song. It just was not handled in the Westway character. Like I said, everyone in this movie was poorly written, and then you know there always got to be a little side of racism in there when it comes to these bad movies. Oh no, Peggy's character pisses me off more than a lot of them, and it's mainly because the race factor low-key played into with her character. Y'all may say this is a reach, y'all may not, but Disney Channel, especially during this era, had a really bad issue when it came to how they wrote black girls specifically. Okay. Apparently the black character that sang Here I Am never actually sang it, and it was dubbed by a white woman. Y'all could have at least, they said y'all could at least give her a black singer. Y'all could have given her a black singer. I'm telling y'all, this gets worse. It gets worse the more it goes on. It's just, overall, Camp Rock is horrible. Soulless cash grab. I said that shit 3 times, and that's most likely gonna be the title of today's Disney December episode, because it is awful. Like, it's honestly awful. Camp Rock is a bad movie that is extremely classist, and we need to accept it. 'Cause I work hard to get to this point in my life. I'm blowing up, so don't hate, just congratulate. The Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their ruts. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay.